Hi everyone, so today we have some major breaking news coming out of the 2020 presidential campaign. We have now new reporting that Kirsten Gillibrand is running for president. Take a look at this.
I'm filing an exploratory committee for President of the United States tonight.
Do you see it? She is filing an exploratory committee for president. This pretty much means that she is running. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to go through the 270 to win map with a potential matchup between Kirsten Gillibrand and Donald Trump. Then I'm going to go through some of the primary data to see if she stands a chance in a primary situation against other potential Democratic candidates. So starting off with the 270 map, I'm just going to real quick. Washington, Oregon, California, Hawaii, all safe for Kirsten Gillibrand. Alaska, Utah, Idaho, Wyoming, Montana, North Dakota, South Dakota, Kansas, Oklahoma, Louisiana, Arkansas, Missouri, Mississippi, Alabama, South Carolina, Tennessee, Kentucky, West Virginia, and Indiana. Illinois, Massachusetts, Rhode Island, Connecticut, New Jersey, Delaware, Maryland, the District of Columbia, New York, Vermont, that first district in the state of Maine. So we start off with 183 electoral votes for Kirsten Gillibrand and 125 electoral votes for President Donald Trump. So how this video, we're just going to go through the kind of southwest portion, then up into the south, and we're going to start again from the north, and then just go right into the Rust Belt. But first, we're going to go over Nebraska's 2nd district. In order for a Democrat to be able to win here, they need to have a populist message and be an extremely high quality Democrat. Kirsten Gillibrand, not necessarily that person, doesn't have a populist message, and I see Nebraska's 2nd district easily going to Donald Trump. In Nevada, I see this one narrowly going to Kirsten Gillibrand. She doesn't have too much of an appeal for the Latino voters, but I still see with the demographic trends, the recent 2018 midterms, this one is probably going to go over towards the Democrats. But Arizona, I don't see it being enough to win her in Arizona. I see the president narrowly holding on to that state. Now we have the state of Colorado, and the state of Colorado, I see that one being not too close. I see it likely to go into the Kirsten Gillibrand column. Kirsten Gillibrand probably carrying this state by quite a wide margin, about 7 points. In New Mexico, I also see this one being likely to go over towards Kirsten Gillibrand. She can't really appeal to these voters, but I still think it's going to be easily enough to put New Mexico into that column. The state of Texas, I see that one likely to go over towards the president. Again, Texas trending Democratic, but I don't think it's enough, especially for a candidate like Kirsten Gillibrand, to be able to pull it off in Texas. Now we've done with this area, now let's go into the south. So Florida, Georgia, North Carolina, and Virginia. In Florida, I see this one going towards the president. Kirsten Gillibrand can't appeal to the voters in Florida, as well as some other potential Democratic candidates could. And I see Kirsten Gillibrand narrowly losing that state, especially considering that the recent 2018 midterm results in a blue wave shows that the Republicans won both statewide contests, including picking up a Senate seat. So that's also something to note. In Georgia and North Carolina, I don't see Kirsten Gillibrand's appeal extended to the African American voters in these two states, and I see her losing both of these by about 4 to 5 points. In the state of Virginia, I see this one likely to go over towards Kirsten Gillibrand. She it's kind of more an establishment Democratic state, and I see Kirsten Gillibrand pulling off that victory in the state of Virginia. In the state of Maine, I see that Maine at-large the Maine at-large going into the likely Democratic column, and the 2nd district going into the likely Republican column. For New Hampshire, that's going to be a close one, but I see it narrowly going towards Kirsten Gillibrand. She's from the area. She can appeal to these voters. So now let's really get into the heart of this election, which is going to be the Rust Belt. This is where all the 2020 elections are going to be decided, with Pennsylvania, Ohio, Michigan, Wisconsin, Minnesota, and Iowa. We're going to start off in Pennsylvania and work our way like that. So, Pennsylvania, that one's going to be extremely close. However, Kirsten Gillibrand just doesn't have the appeal. She's kind of more an establishment Democrat, and many of these blue-collar, white working-class voters won't really appreciate that and would see her as another Hillary Clinton. Pennsylvania goes to Donald Trump. Same thing in Ohio. I see that one likely to go towards President Donald Trump. That officially gives him the election 274. And how many electoral votes Kirsten Gillibrand gets is yet to be decided. So Trump, re-elected president as of now. Again, reasoning for Ohio, white working class voters, not necessarily all that enthusiastic about Kirsten Gillibrand. In Michigan, that's going to be a hotly contested race. I'm going to come back to that. I think I'm actually just going to put it as a pure toss-up. So there we go. In Wisconsin, I see President Trump carrying this. Kirsten Gillibrand, not the kind of candidate to appeal to the voters in the state of Wisconsin. In Minnesota, however, I see Kirsten Gillibrand narrowly carrying this state, and it's going to be close, but I see her narrowly carrying the state of Minnesota. And the same thing with Iowa. I see that one going into the likely Republican column. And now, finally, for Michigan, that's going to be a close race. But I think that just how close it was in 2016 means that Kirsten Gillibrand only needs to win over a little bit of more support. I think she can do that, and I see Kirsten Gillibrand narrowly carrying the state of Michigan. So that finishes off our map. 290 for President Trump, 248 for Kirsten Gillibrand. Okay, sorry about that. So I was about to get into the Democratic primary with the Iowa Democratic presidential caucuses. And it's definitely something to note that Kirsten Gillibrand not even making this list of the top, I believe, 8 candidates. If we go more in depth of the poll, they did an approval rating of all of the potential candidates. You can see Kirsten Gillibrand doing okay with her favorables. I mean, 7 and 28 compared to her unfavorables, which are quite low. That's only 9% of unfavorable. But look at this, 55% of people just don't know enough. They're not sure. And that's a warning sign, because that's a warning sign that her main goal for the first year of campaigning really should be getting her name out as much as possible to decrease that number. Kind of like President Trump did with all that massive crowded Republican primary. He really got his name out there with that. So yes, Kirsten Gillibrand, definitely something to note. 55%, more than half of Democratic voters not sure about her. That shows that she suffers from a lack of name recognition. And it's something to note that she doesn't have too much name recognition. Not sure, 55%, and that's something that she needs to improve if she wants to have a shot at the presidency of the United States. So, yep, I would say within this she would get 1% of the vote, which is not too good if you're asking me. So overall, with Kirsten Gillibrand, it's going to be tough for her to get out of a Democratic primary. The hardest part, I think, for her would be getting out of a Democratic primary. It would be slightly easier to win in a general election, but I still think that she would lose in the end to President Donald Trump. So, just to recap on the breaking news, this was the breaking news, if I can get it to work.
And what would that be, madam? I'm filing exploratory committee for President of the United States tonight.
There you see it. That was the breaking news. She's running for president. And yeah, so thank you guys for watching this video. Comment down your suggestions below, and I'll see you all in my next video. Peace.